know how to snowboard. Kevin asked Michelle on a date. He wanted to go snowboarding. I love snowboarding, said Michelle. This was a lie. She had never been snowboarding. She wanted to impress Kevin. That's great, said Kevin. Then we can go to the advanced slope. Michelle was terrified. The top of the advanced slope was extremely high. It was too late to say the truth. This can't be that hard, she thought. I just have to keep my balance. Michelle flew off the hill. She stayed standing for less than 2 seconds. She looked like a giant snowball by the time she reached the bottom of the slope. Kevin felt bad for her. He hugged her tight to get her warm. Her plan worked out after all.
A hiking trip? Hi, Anne. Did you sign up for the trip on Saturday?
What trip is that? I didn't know there was a trip on Saturday.
The hiking club is going to Bear Mountain. The bus drops us off at the bottom, and we're going to hike until we get to a cabin halfway up the mountain.
That sounds really great. Where can I sign up?
Go and see Jennifer. She'll help you sign up.
What activity will we do when we get to the cabin on the mountain?
Well, it takes 7 hours to hike to the cabin, so it will be late by the time we arrive. After we unpack, we'll start a campfire. Then we can sing, eat, and tell stories around the fire. The following day, we'll leave at dawn and hike to the top of the mountain. After we take pictures, we'll hike back down. If we have time, we might go swimming in the lake on the mountain.
Those sound like really fun activities, and I can't wait to go. Adai. The adai is a traditional, form-fitting, long-sleeved silk dress worn over matching pants that covers from the neck down. It covers everything but hides nothing. Young girls tend to wear white, while older single women frequently prefer light pastels, and married women often opt for more fashion-forward designs, fabrics, and colors. Originally inspired by fashions of the Chinese imperial court, by the 19th century the dress had become uniquely Vietnamese. In the mid-20th century, designers narrowed the fit to create the style most often seen today. The 1960s brought an influx of Western culture to Vietnam, and the adai had to compete with trendy foreign fashions such as the miniskirt. Throughout the late 70s and much of the 80s, the adai was rarely seen. It regained popularity, however, in late 1980s, when schools and government offices began adopting the dress as a uniform internationally. The timeless lines of the adai have influenced some of Europe's best-known fashion houses at home, while not as popular with younger generations as before. The dress is still in demand and remains a visible part of Vietnamese culture.
The life of the Amazon. The Amazon rainforest is a large tropical rainforest found in South America in the Amazon basin. The forest covers over 5 million square kilometers, covering land in 9 countries. The forest can be found in Brazil, Colombia, Peru, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Most of the forest, about 60% of its mass, exists in Brazil. The rainforest contains an enormous diversity of plant life, with some experts estimating that in just 1 square kilometer of rainforest, biologists can examine over 75,000 types of trees and 150,000 examples of higher plants. 1 square kilometer can also hold over 90,000 tons of plant life. Which is the largest collection of living plants on Earth, naturally, with all its abundance of plant life? The Amazon rainforest also holds the largest collection of animal species on Earth. There are over 3,000 species of recognized fish that reside in the Amazon River. The number of recognized fish is still growing, and some experts put the figures at 5,000 inland. The rainforest is host to thousands of other species as well. The region is home to over 2 million insects and thousands of birds and mammals, at last count. The list of recognized species contained 1,294 birds, 427 mammals, 428 amphibians, and 378 reptiles. It is estimated that about 1/3 of all species on Earth reside in the Amazon, making it, along with its plant life, the richest source of biodiversity in the world. What can you cook? So clean, what can you cook?
Well, Nana, I can actually cook almost anything. I can cook easy stuff like rice and beans and peas to probably more difficult stuff like certain types of meat. I can bake, I fry, I can make vegetables. Actually, I make very good pies. We have a food in Trinidad and Tobago we call macaroni pie, which is very delicious.
Sounds nice.
With lots of melted cheese.
Sounds really nice.
What can you cook though?
It's sad though. I can only cook one thing. It's called stew. Ghanaian stew. Tomato stew.
What is it made of? Just tomatoes.
Just tomatoes, onions. Basically vegetables, and probably I will consider myself a good chef because I can also cook rice.
So you can cook rice and stew and you're a good chef?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Secret relationship. Diane and Bobby are dating. Diane's dad does not know that they are dating. He doesn't want Diane to date until she is in college. It's hard for Diane to hide her relationship. Every time she wants to go out with him, she has to tell her dad she is going out with friends. Every time Bobby gives her presents, Diane has to hide them. Her dad is getting suspicious. Bobby is upset that Diane is hiding their relationship from her dad. Bobby feels like Diane is embarrassed to be with him. Bobby wants to meet Diane's dad. He decides to take matters into his own hands. After school, he goes to Diane's house. Diane is still at school because she has violin practice. Bobby knocks on the door slowly. His hands are shaking. Diane's dad opens the door. How can I help you? Bobby doesn't say anything for a minute. Are you going to talk or what? Diane's dad angrily asks, Sir, I am dating your daughter. Bobby says. Diane's dad frowns. Break up with her immediately. She's too young to be dating. Bobby is sad. He tells Diane that they have to keep lying about their relationship to her dad. I know. Diane says. Twins are cheating. Annie and Diana are identical twins. It is hard to tell them apart. Sometimes their best friends even get confused on who is who. One key difference between the two was their feet. Annie's foot has a mole on it, and Diana's does not. Annie and Diana sometimes disguise themselves as each other. Annie pretends to be Diana when Diana doesn't want to take math tests. Diana pretends to be Annie when Annie has to do the mile run in physical education class. They have been doing this for years. Annie and Diana's enemy, Scarlett, finds out what they have been doing. She tells their math and physical education teachers that they have been cheating all along. Mr. Thompson, The math teacher gives them both an F. Ms. Nguyen. The physical education teacher gives them both an F. too. Annie and Diana are sad. Annie tries to explain that she gets out of breath easily when she runs. Diana tries to explain that math gives her anxiety. Mr. Thompson and Ms. Nguyen don't care. Annie and Diana no longer pretend to be each other anymore after they got an F. Their parents forced them to move schools. The two schools were not that far apart, so they still got to see each other.
The transformation. Evan was in his last year of middle school. He was 4 feet and 11 inches. He weighed 140 pounds. He was bald. He had no friends. He had a 0.00 GPA. His life was going nowhere. He was struggling with so much because his parents recently passed away. He wanted to transform himself though, so he could have a fresh start in high school. Evan went to a therapist who told him that he had to make small changes first. The therapist told him that he had to start with the easier things. Evan bought hair growth treatment to fix his baldness problems. He started talking to people more to make friends. He realized that he just had to express himself. He started to study more instead of crying about his parents. He started to eat healthier to lose weight. When Evan entered high school on the very first day, he was a totally different person. His classmates could not recognize him. Evan was now 5 feet 9, muscular, smart, and popular. He also had a head full of hair. Everyone wanted to be friends with him. Most important of all, Evan was finally happy.
Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall went to Africa when she was 26 years old. She went there to research chimpanzees. At that time, no other women scientists worked there alone. At first, Jane studied the chimps from far away. The chimps were afraid of her. They ran away if she came close to them. After some time, the chimps saw that she was not going to hurt them. They let her walk near them. Soon, she was living among them. She wanted to learn more and more about them. Jane did a lot of research on chimps. She discovered many new things about them. She learned that each chimp has its own personality. She saw that they have feelings. Jane discovered that chimps have very close families. Mothers and fathers take good care of baby chimps. An adult female chimp will sometimes adopt an orphan. In 1977, Jane started an institute to help protect animals. She wanted to help animals all around the world. Today, this institute runs programs in over 70 countries.
Acupuncture. Acupuncture began in China thousands of years ago. It is a special way to treat sick people. There are many acupuncture spots on the human body. Small metal needles are put into spots on the body. Each spot is connected to a special body part or system. There are many spots for each part. An expert puts the needles into these spots in a person's body. These spots connect to the body system that has a problem. The needles do not go deep. People say that the needles do not hurt. We are not sure why acupuncture works, but studies have shown that it works very well. No one can explain why. Doctors think that it helps the nerves in the body. Some doctors use acupuncture to treat people who cannot take medicine. People in Asia have been using this special method for a long time. At first, people outside Asia did not trust this method. They did not think that it would help them. Now, it has become very popular around the world.